Welcome to the power half hour, or, well, more likely full hour of Slash Face Roll podcast hourness.
Yeah, it's whatever tickles our fancy.
Yeah, it's just really whatever we feel like doing tonight. We have a new perma host from last week. His name is Tommy Hughes, originally a guest, now perma host.
I like perma host.
I am Eric Powers.
Doug Mitchell.
Eric Bada.
And the sultry Tommy Hughes.
Sultry,
succulent Tommy Hughes.
Sultry Tommy.
So we are going to put our second go at doing some Mortal Kombat talking / recording. We had some problems recording Trilogy, so now we're going to record and play Mortal Kombat 3, which is perfectly fine with me. I was lobbying for that in the beginning.
Yeah, but before the show, he was almost yelling at me in a demeaning way about not doing Trilogy.
It wasn't demeaning. It may have been derogatory.
Yeah.
Not demeaning.
Derogatorily demeaning.
But yeah, point I was trying to make. I played the Mortal Kombat as they came out. Probably shouldn't have been. I was probably in first, second, third grade at the time.
No, it was.
But
back in the 90s, this was not a game for a first grader.
No.
Nowadays, completely acceptable.
Yeah, this is mild for a first grader these days.
For any younger users who are listening to us, this wasn't allowed back in the day.
This is like current Disney Channel.
Yeah.
Well, like I was saying, this is the first game I remember my parents were just like, no. We're not renting this for you.
It's like the Power Rangers. They've been teaching kids that violence is the answer to everything.
Exactly.
When did the ESRB get its start?
It definitely wasn't.
I think this was rated, wasn't it?
Are you sure?
I feel like it must
I want to
have
say
been.
it was right around this time, maybe even for Mortal Kombat or Mortal Kombat 2.
The game. I think it was definitely in like that Sega era.
Yeah.
Because I do remember
Sega,
games
Super
like
Nintendo.
this, and like, do you remember Road Rash?
Oh, Road
God,
Rash
yeah,
was
I remember
great.
That was
Road
another
Rash.
one that got rated. That one
Really?
like barely got by for my parents. They were like,
But the ratings were very
yeah,
different, though.
I guess
Yeah.
so. We
Wasn't
don't
it just like yes or no? Were those like the ratings?
No,
it's
no.
either
I think,
mature.
no,
I think it was
was,
like I think they started. It was like an E or M.
Yeah, there was.
That's what I thought.
I think it was like an everybody or
And then
mature.
they eventually broke
They
it down
eventually
further.
made some more.
It's pretty.
Oh, that was a pretty
special
sick
move.
move.
All right.
For our YouTube
yeah,
users,
let's,
you just got to watch
yeah.
that.
Let's bring that up right now. We are also doing a real cast of our playing here.
Yeah, and if you
Finish
haven't,
him.
and if this is the
Aw,
first time
can't just
tuning
let
in,
him
we got
fall
2
over.
others out there. So
Yep.
go subscribe. Otherwise, you're a scrub.
I'm sure you'll find them.
Yeah.
Follow the links.
Yeah. I mean,
And I think
we're so famous already
Follow the blue
that I
links.
don't know how we don't have 10 billion subscribers.
I was talking to you may know him, Robbie Deerdeck. I was talking to him earlier today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
tweeting me.
Of course.
Yeah.
And
On
Tweets me
the-
every
I think
day.
I think we're on what, the 8th? This is the 8th podcast. Because 6 is up right now, 7 is in the works.
7 is almost up, and
Yeah.
this
And
Some
I
will
was
be
I
up
was
soon.
tweeting him some deets about
Is
number
8.
7, and he was looking forward to this to the cockpicks
Yeah.
subject.
So amazing.
Indeed.
So amazing. It's going to be awesome. Oh, God. Shiva's so hot.
Well, yeah, we're gonna throw it.
She's
up
got
to this
4 arms to stroke you off with. And those big kajonglis in the deepest V.
unfortunately,
The
she's fighting
deepest-
Predator, so...
This was where Sniper Wolf got her deep V from.
That's like a Tosh.0 deep V right
Yeah.
there. That's
Yeah.
real homo. If it was a dude.
Yeah, if it was a dude. But dude, could you just imagine 4 arms just caressing
Dude,
your body?
I don't know,
feel
dude. I
a
don't know.
little bit
Yeah.
awkward.
I don't know if I'd want
I
that
feel
thing
like-
near me.
Close your eyes, it'd feel
How
like
about
2
a forehead-
chicks.
I
a
know.
forehead-
Yeah, buddy.
Forehead
Yeah, buddy.
massage.
Yeah,
I
well,
don't know.
like
I feel like I could take the
you could
two.
you could get a legit massage and the happy ending at the same time.
Wow.
That's
I
awesome.
feel like with a chick that muscular, you'd be happy with the 2, but then she'd just be like forcing you to do shit. Like, no, you're getting that you're getting that squirrely finger up your ass.
I don't want to.
No,
I control you.
No, there's nothing squirrely about this.
Oh, dude, she just. Oh my God, she just
That was-
freaking face squatted
That
right
was-
all over.
I like-
him. That was awesome.
I like her finishing move. She can do like the wings
I'm gonna
and
go
like
ahead.
also bow at the same time.
What is the button combination for that? Down, down, up? Something.
yeah,
I,
something.
you know, it's
Who
something
is
super
Shiva
basic.
and
That's what I
It's
learned
retarded
about this
simple.
game.
Oh, guys, we completely forgot our players today.
Oh, sorry.
Our
I didn't.
players.
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't forget about them.
We
I never
have
forget about them.
our possibly perma player,
Yeah.
Chris Libby.
Yeah.
And possibly guest host coming up. We'll talk about that. And then we have our producer, Billy Mitchell, who is,
getting
based off that
stomped
reaction,
right
getting
now.
owned right now. Whoa, something is happening on the screen, and that was pretty cool. Ah, that was what was cool about Mortal Kombat, just the move.
Everybody
like-
had their own sick
Yeah.
ass moves, and
Yeah.
they were slightly personalized.
I
Even
mean,
though all the button
it was.
combinations were
It's
about
very
the same.
obviously very similar to Street Fighter,
Yeah.
but they did
Yeah.
expand on the animations and,
Well, I
and
think-
it's much gorier.
And the
This
fatalities
game-
were a cool thing. The finish him.
This game was like a forerunner to, like Soul Calibur.
The
and-
more realistic fighters, as opposed to the.
Yeah, Street Fighter didn't do it for me.
It was.
Yeah,
it was
I mean,
more
they
of a
all
cartoon,
suck.
Like it was
Yeah.
cartoon.
Every
animated.
last
kinda like
fighting
the, like,
game sucks.
Cheesy, like, animation
I know about
against,
that.
like, a background. Like, it was like the 2D, whereas, like, this was tried to be 3D.
Dude, I tell you what killed Street Fighter is I think they had like a really shitty game that they put out on the Dreamcast.
You know what killed Street Fighter? The fact that it was a fighting game.
I think I tell you what killed Street Fighter is that
It was
the
Street
movie
Fighter.
the movie production could not match up to Mortal Kombat movie.
No, oh my god, the
The
Mortal,
Mortal Kombat movie is actually pretty cool.
Dude,
I still loved the
I
Street
can't even
Fighter
tell
movie.
you
It had
how many
Jean-Claude. It was awesome.
I did too.
Was Jean-Claude in Street Fighter?
It's Street Fighter.
I mean,
yeah,
really,
I loved the Street Fighter
I don't even know
movie.
if I've even seen
But with
Street
Mortal
Fighter.
with Mortal Kombat the movie though, there's only one good part.
What's that?
When Johnny Cage does the splits,
Oh,
and punches Gore in the nuts. Those are $400 glasses, you asshole. Like that was like really the only good part of the movie.
Or yeah, it was really just the power moments or whatever,
It's-
like when Sub-Zero froze that dude out of midair and then just
Yeah.
punched his head off or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
yeah.
It was
Or I
I feel
can
like-
never remember who it was, but I think it was Scorpion. You see his friggin' chain things shooting through the forest, just ripping that
Yeah,
guy,
didn't
ripping
it come
him
out of
back.
his palm?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can see like the slit, like his vagina and his palm shooting out fucking.
Palm vagina.
And like a
Shooting out
living,
the
a living
dildo on a
arrow.
string.
Yeah.
There's a
Dude, that
dildo
thing-
on a string.
That thing was alive.
That was a
It had like a little
It was
mouth.
stupid.
That was a sick fight, and then it somehow turns into fucking Johnny Cage like drop kicking him into hell.
Yeah,
And then
I
they
mean,
fight in hell. It's like,
let's,
what the
let's be
fuck is
honest though.
happening
Let's
right
be
now?
honest. Most of the movies that we love based on the things we loved as children in video games or TV shows,
Don't hold up.
yeah, like TMNT, Power Rangers, even Street Fighter.
I don't
Come
know,
on,
the
they-
TMNT movies are still
The,
pretty
the
sick.
TMNT are, but they've done a
Not
lot
3.
of exactly. Like they eventually got there. 1 and 2 were
Yeah, 1 and
absolutely
2.
amazing. But
Fact.
when you especially like Power Rangers is
Oh my
the
god.
best example I can think of.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
And although I watched the movie a
It's
million
still-
times, it was bad.
It's still going on.
I really don't
It
think
has
it's
gotten
getting
progressively
very
worse.
good.
In the legit original Power Rangers, you can see the zippers on every single putty.
Hey, at
Oh,
least
yeah.
they're
Remember
not.
the putties?
Hey,
Oh, yeah.
at least they're not
Oh,
CG.
I just want to point out. That I saw a little column the other day that was Power Rangers nowadays and had them back in the day and them now, and they all look like average people, except for Tommy, who was the Green Ranger, who is now apparently some like ultimate fighter
Yeah, he's in the
monster piece.
UFC.
Yeah.
Isn't he
He
the
got
one? Yeah,
jacked.
no,
he's
he's
convicted of a double
y-
homicide.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was
Oh.
the Red Ranger.
No,
wasn't
that
it?
was the.
No,
No,
That
that was
was
the Green
Tommy.
and White Ranger.
Yeah.
Oh, Tommy was the white. No.
Oh,
Tommy was
Tommy
the white
was-
and
Tommy
green.
was the white and green. Yeah, Tommy was the white and green. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
double
him.
homicide.
Yeah.
Shit. All right.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Oh, yeah, he-
apparently, for people that can't hear
No,
that from our
he's-
producer, apparently the Green and White
Yeah.
Ranger was convicted of a double homicide.
Yeah, I do believe he was on a yacht.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was watching a boat or something.
I don't
He's
know.
on a boat.
Yes, but I don't know what happened. But
Hidden on a
he's currently. I think he's currently a fighter, isn't he?
I know he was like.
Took that
I
Lonely
know
Isle
what you're
song
talking
too
about.
far.
Yeah.
I saw it too, and he was like all tatted up and
Yeah, like-
roided out. And
Oh, dude.
Yeah, like super.
I've been
roided
thinking
out.
about doing the roid thing.
Dude, you should.
Yeah.
Just-
I heard.
Just
Just
a couple
circumvent
seconds.
Great
working
for your
out.
body.
I heard.
Just circumvent
I heard the
working out.
greatest
Just,
way-
just bump roids.
the greatest way to
Perfect.
do it.
I
is
don't know if
go
that
wrong.
will work, but
Greatest way to do it.
just take roids and then play video games on the couch.
I'd have the most massive ripped thumbs ever.
Your hands are like literally just like
Yeah.
giant hammers on your arm.
With these little like twig arms. And I'd probably have I'd have a much bigger ass too, from just all the
There's nothing
injections and
wrong
then
with
sitting
No,
around.
yeah, no
there
legs
isn't.
than just
No.
ass and hands.
I've actually heard the trick is mainlining it right into your cock.
yeah.
right to the PB hole.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Just stick it
Just-
right
yeah.
down and.
By the way, you
Oh,
get maximal shrinkage. In the
Exactly.
area. That's what you're really shooting for.
Yeah.
Also uses we don't actually recommend
you're shooting
this.
you're shooting the HGH directly into the balls where the testosterone spawns from.
You know what's sad?
That's why it's so good
You know
for
what's
you.
sad? Somebody's actually tried that.
No, somebody
maybe
singular.
Maybe
No,
on
Or
like
like
there
plural,
are
yeah.
people out there that's probably done it.
Dude, I
What are
feel
we
like
doing now? Is Billy doing the
I feel like you could easily.
yeah, let's
the
try
Mortal
and pull us back
Kombat's
to
version of the
Mortal Kombat.
campaign? Yeah.
Jesus Christ,
Is
off
this,
topic.
this is Mortal Kombat's version of the campaign. back
two
in the
weeks
day.
in a row, a too long conversation about wieners.
Yeah.
So-
Phenomenal.
yeah,
Yeah. So I mean, is this like you think about games nowadays, and me and Pal were actually talking about this earlier. But you think about games nowadays, and you have like the multiplayer, and you have the campaign. This is almost like the 1v1 was the multiplayer, and
Well-
this is the campaign was the tournament.
Well,
because
no,
there weren't
I feel like just like with a lot of like multiplayer only games that come out now, Shadowrun is a good example, where the single player is just a multiplayer with AI. That's all this
Yeah.
is.
Right.
I feel like that. Like, yeah, they kind of create a simple
Yeah, I'll
background
give
to
you
keep
that.
you a
I'll
little bit
give you that.
engaged. It's just like with Street Fighter. At the end, they give you that like those 3 pictures and a little bit of text telling you about the character, what they do after
Yeah.
after they won the tournament,
Yeah.
and it's just like something where it's like, oh, just some way to get you to achieve at the end of the game.
Yeah, a
Give
little
you
slight
some reason
reward.
to get there.
Give you some reason to do something besides just
You
hoe with one
remember,
character.
in fighting games, what's that? What's the Xbox one? Dead or Alive?
Oh yeah, DOA.
With
so
the
terrible.
I think it was the Dead or Alive 4 or whatever. You legit would unlock like cutscenes or whatever once you won it with the thing, and like all the chicks were just like naked in it. It's like the only reason like any
Yeah,
dude.
that
playing
was
it.
only
the
reason-
the only reason any of the chicks do the fighting tournaments is so at the end they can just get naked on the beach.
Well, you know what
course.
the you know
It
what the
made so much
sad thing
sense.
was.
That's
is,
the only
like,
reason chicks have ever been in games since like Metroid even.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
got like unlocked everything,
you
did,
get-
like,
you
the
eventually
hardest
get to the
mode,
end, and
you
then
got
she's on
her
a
down
moon
to her
beach.
bikini. Yeah.
See,
in a-
honestly, I liked the game, and that like took away from it. It was like, why would you try and make this like so? Corny?
Someone just got owned, by the way.
Like why would you
For
put
our
this
YouTube
corny?
users, you
Well,
get to
the
see
thing
that
is,
for who's
it's been
not.
that same corny end after
Since Blitz.
since
With the
any fighting
cheerleaders.
game where they try to somehow create some story around this world, and it's like,
Are you
no,
guys playing on
it
the
really
same
is just a
side
bunch
that
of people
you're
getting
sitting?
together that shouldn't be shooting fireballs out their hands.
Well, dude,
Hey,
you know what
Billy
is
just got
sad to
owned.
think about is that back in the day when we would have Halo parties, I remember there was always a point in the night where everybody kind of break off and start playing their own games, and somebody would always break out DOA beach
Oh
volleyball.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it was
Oh,
always
yeah.
fucking Knowles.
After,
It was always fucking Knowles.
Knowles, if you're listening to
Yeah.
this,
Thank you.
yeah, that. Not thank you.
And
No,
the
yeah,
dumb, and the
definitely
dumb
thank you.
thing was,
But
is
no,
like
it's
everybody
alright.
would stop playing their games and just migrate towards
Yeah,
that.
it's,
TV.
I mean, I guess some people were
and
into it. That's
do you-
fine, whatever.
Do you remember the ad campaign that they had where there's like 8 guys all sitting around in some dude's like tiny ass room, and they're all just like playing with like wide eyes? It's like the chicks are just like jumping around, like moaning and groaning and
That
shit.
was for
doing like
volleyball?
nothing but
Yeah, that was for
jumping
beach
around, moaning
volleyball, and I
groaning.
feel like we embrace that because you're just so infatuated with. Did they really make this? Did
Yeah.
they?
Well, yeah. I
Like,
was gonna-
wait,
if
yeah,
I
they
watched
did.
Any of it, it was just
It's-
like, what the fuck is
Well,
this? It wasn't
it's
even
it's a
game,
car.
really,
It's
was it?
yeah, it's a car accident. You can't take your eyes away.
Yeah.
You're like, wow,
That,
really?
You
I
wanna
think
look
that
away,
also
be
can
like,
be said for
oh.
like Tomb Raider.
So fail.
So amazing.
Honestly,
so
who the fuck
hilarious.
played Tomb Raider for the story?
Yeah.
At least Tomb Raider had like semi-difficult gameplay.
Yeah.
This was
Yeah.
just like
Dude, have
the
you ever
ball.
tried to play that game? It's
Hit the
really
ball back.
difficult because it doesn't make any sense.
Tomb Raider.
Wait.
No, DOA,
Oh.
trying to actually play that game, no, it is actually very hard.
Wait, DOA the fighting game?
No,
Or
the
the
beach
volleyball.
volleyball, because there's
I've
no
never
consistent.
actually played.
There's
that game.
no consistent game mechanic in it whatsoever.
I'm
It's a
o-
button masher.
I'm over.
It's a
talking
volleyball
about
button masher.
Volleyball
You just like
button
mash
masher.
like oh, I think this does a set, and then you just mash it. All of a sudden you're spiking. You're like, okay, let me switch to the other button, and then it
Well,
just does
seriously,
whatever
how
it
many
wants.
fucking buttons do you need?
Kind of like
for-
when you have a bad controller and like Mario Tennis on the
Well,
Wii,
if it was
you're, like,
something-
just swinging, hoping your guy will swing when the ball comes past you.
Yeah.
No, it's just so somebody can crank out the easy and still hit the button with their thumb.
Yeah.
Fact.
Easy mode. You can just do
Fact.
some easy,
Yeah,
quick
easy mode.
gameplay, apparently. All right, enough of this fucking trash game. I'm done talking about it.
Well, so let's talk about this trash
Let's
game.
talk
pal.
about dude, trash.
Yeah, it's
All right.
trash.
Dougie hates fighting games. All right, well,
I
Tommy,
have to
Vidal, what do
say,
you guys call
I
it?
hate fighting games just because the level of skill to just button mashing, it doesn't match up. Like, I like games where you can like tell skillful players from non-skillful players.
I'm going to admit that it's been a long time since I've actually like tried to play a fighting game and mastered a character or whatever. Oh, there it is. Oh my God, I don't. Okay,
YouTube
so
Wait, did the head turn out too?
Yeah,
yeah,
Damn,
yeah, you missed
anyone
it.
who
Yeah,
is
yeah.
not watching the YouTube, you need to now
Yeah.
go. I didn't even
Yeah.
care if you just fast forward to this part.
Yeah.
Well, a couple seconds before now. No.
I'm gonna throw out a random number, a random minute.
Head guy just
Go to
came
the
out.
6-minute mark. That's where it
6
is.
minutes to
I don't know
mark.
if it's true,
Probably
but check
not.
it out. Dude, watch. It's gonna be
I'm
exactly
gonna
on the
say
6-minute mark.
the 20-second mark actually.
Start right
Yeah,
around
but
The
the
20
the biggest
22nd
problem,
minute mark.
especially when you start thinking like early on, is it was either you blocked all the
how
time.
racist is that Indian character for our YouTube viewers, by the way?
Nightwolf.
And his name's Nightwolf.
Dude, I mean
Liu Kang.
Oh, yeah, come on. They didn't try very hard. Even though it was well, no, it was made by Midway. Was Midway
I
an
would-
Asian company?
I wouldn't
That might
say
be
it's
acceptable.
racist.
Not so much racist, but like
It's a good.
stereotypical.
Well, that's like saying, oh, well, the dude's an Asian, so he
Oh, I
looks
mean-
Asian. That's stereotypical. What?
No, like,
that doesn't
like,
make any
I mean,
sense.
look, if he draws a ghost, like a ancient bow, and has like the feathers on and stuff, he has like the face paint.
Right.
It fits in with his.
Robbie, are you playing
It fits
Liu
in with
Kang
his
or still
history. The thing is, they actually created history to these people, and he's actually
I
from
just wanted to
a
ask,
native
Robbie,
tribe.
do you identify any bit with Liu Kang because he's Asian?
Yeah,
He's got long
so-
hair like
so I
yours
don't
right
thi-
now?
so I don't
oh my
think-
God, Robbie's pretty Liu Kang like.
Yeah.
Robbie, do you have a red bandana you could throw
Yeah.
in real quick? Damn.
Do you also look as good like that with your shirt off?
Dude,
Oh,
you just
I
got,
bet you do. I bet he does.
You
Don't-
just got
don't be so modest.
uppercutted into another level.
Yeah,
That's
but
bad.
I
How
feel like
cool of a feature was that? Like midway through the fight, uppercutted. Oh shit!
into another
New game.
level.
dude.
Finish him hard.
Well, not new game because you still have the
God
same health.
damn it,
Your game's
Billy. You
owned.
suck at life.
So, anyways, the problem I have with like pretty much all fighting games is it always comes down to figuring out like the two things that you can do to just like I even went and watched an MLG match between like two dudes playing like the newest Mortal Kombat that came out, and all it was the guys basically waiting for an opportunity to do the same combo over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Like
Block,
it
block,
wasn't
block,
there
look for the
wasn't like a
opening.
lot of because you can only do certain things with the controller. It's not like most other arena style games like Smash Brothers or anything. It's like it's all about combos and everything now. And this does have some combo elements to it, but for the most part, it's just you do like you repeatedly jump kick. You just like jump kick.
Well, you
you
could-
find something that works until they figure out how to stop it, and then
Yeah.
you switch to the next cheap ass move.
I don't
And
know.
that's what
see-
for me that it all comes down
See,
to.
for me, since that neither of these guys have played too much, and even I used to play a lot when I was younger, but
Yeah.
but I wasn't like I didn't know a ton of combos. You needed to get like a book and learn like 20 combo things in a row
Yeah.
to pull it off. So like for two people that are even like pretty like high to mediocre skilled, like not crazy skilled, but like like mediocre to like pretty decent.
Yeah.
It's always going to be a pretty fun game because it's more about timing than just like you doing a ton of combos. Because
Well,
neither one of you would know a ton of combos. It's
And
just-
I think everybody can relate, and even Livey's doing it now, is that this is one game, like, when you first got it, the little instruction manual that came with it, you had it cracked open and had it in your lap or whatever, and
Yeah.
we're playing the game at the same time because you were learning the combos.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you got to a point where you're just like, fuck this, I'm just going to start button mashing.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go back, high punch, back,
Yeah.
high punch.
Well,
back,
you
You
back,
figure
high
out the
punch.
basics, and you just go
One
from
of the
there.
like nice and like almost annoying things at the same time about this game was eventually like you figured out, oh, this combo is going to work on these characters. Like the
Yeah.
same combo worked out, which was nice for learning, but then like from a strategy point, it's
And
like,
then-
oh, all these
and
guys
then they
are the
moved-
same one. But again, a really nice feature for people learning, like
Yeah.
Livey's looking right now.
But before, when you start at like Street Fighter, you have a few power moves, and then it's all about like just timing a kick,
Yep.
timing a punch or whatever, and timing your special abilities. And then as they move into the combo system, then they're just like, well, now it's all about just busting out combos and learning combo breakers. And so really it to me, it's more about, like, yes, there's a lot of timing involved, like you mentioned, powers, but like how hard, like look at what Shao Tsung is doing right now. He's just jump kick, and he's timing it in such a way that the person can't even block before he gets up and can get hit.
Yeah,
Right.
there's
And
just
I feel like
against
although they keep trying as this genre progresses, it still ends up being the same thing. Except now instead of being able to jump kick, they'll maybe now allow you to block, or they'll just be like, oh, now you bust out a combo breaker or a counter move. But then it goes back to doing the same thing.
I think that's
Like
always
to me, it's very repetitive. Now I understand that, not just because of you're doing like the same thing each round. Well, every game is like that because that's what the game is meant to do. But
That's
very
what multiplayer
repetitive
is.
in terms of what you're actually doing to win.
Yeah.
It doesn't progress all that much
I think
to me.
that's the
Yeah.
And so I just
downside
don't-
of like 2D fighters, is that they have that
Well,
edge.
Well, think about even something like Tekken that was 3D, quote unquote.
Yeah.
I
with
mean,
the spinning.
where you could like rotate the map a little bit, like even as they started introducing that in like
Yeah, but
DOA and all
these-
these other ones, it's like, you know,
These square up fighter games that are just like, you have a border and this is where you need to stay.
Yeah.
Is like you were saying, you push them into that edge and then you just like keep kicking them until they can't get up and they can't block. You
And
do
then-
the same thing in
See, I think-
Smash
and then
Brothers.
once they figure out how to stop that,
See, I
then you
think
just
this is like an
then you just
example of
start
a
going
game
and blasting
where-
the fireball out of your
Yeah.
hands over and over and
This is
over
like
again.
a game where it gets worse as you get like higher in skill because, like you said, it forces you into those combos.
Yeah.
Like Pat was saying, if you're like the amateur player just sitting there, and you just feel like it's just a fun button masher. Like, oh hey, you like learn a few moves, you know how to use them. You don't know how to use them well against specific characters.
Yeah,
you
and
just
see,
know how
like,
to use them
oh.
to your advantage slightly. Like
I thought
these
Liu
two
Kang
guys,
was
there's
coming
like
back on that
Billy
one.
knows a decent amount of moves. Lives is looking up as he goes. You know, they're going back and forth, winning some, losing
Well,
some.
The great thing about this
At
thing
the high
too
level.
is like Mortal Kombat is Sega based, and even at PlayStation, well, maybe not PlayStation, but when it was Sega based, 3 fucking buttons.
Yeah.
Now you got Xbox, you have so many goddamn
Yeah.
buttons, so many friggin' combos. Like, honestly, I realize there's people out there that probably know what every single button does and what combos you can do with what buttons, but this
There's
was
no
a,
need to use them.
yeah, this was in a golden age where you only had 3 buttons. You can figure out and master that. Who cared?
See, I don't know.
They
I
feel the
think
need to use the new
we used to
buttons.
play like all the time.
You don't
So
need
like
to.
when you have to play against each other, like over and over and over and over, because you're like it wasn't like it was online or something. Like
No.
you like
Yeah.
if you two played like together a lot of time, you just made rules like you can't just stand there and infinitely punch me where you can't move, because that's a combo in this game. They eventually make it in one of the Mortal Kombats that if you keep punching, like after a few punches, the person like automatically
Yeah,
takes a
they
step
like
back.
they like step back, but I feel like as long as you can keep getting him in that position, you just keep doing that over and over.
Well, no, but I'm saying like we just made the rule that you just weren't going to be a douche.
Yeah, since
It's
there
like,
was
hey,
no
it's like, hey,
online playback
like
in the
yeah,
day
like
where you were
let's
playing
use some
random
strategy
people.
and not just jump kick 6 times. Like that's not even fun. Like neither one of us
Yeah.
has fun when we do that. Like
Right,
let's
but
really play this
but,
out.
So
That's
where do
just
you
how it
go
was.
from there? So you can't jump kick repeatedly. So you can jump kick once, okay, but then
No, so you just play it skillfully. You don't use anything that's repetitive. You don't
You
don't use any
don't be
infinite
douchey.
combos. You know what I mean? Like you play a fighting game without any of the stupid shit
But
that
then doesn't
ruins a fighting game.
Doesn't it take then? Isn't most of the time spent just blocking, waiting for the other guy to
No,
make a
I
move?
honestly like.
Well, no,
I,
you just
I don't
fight
even
it
like.
out.
I barely
Like,
remember
you don't
blocking when I was
be-
little. It's more about
don't
like
be a
getting a
douche,
sick
basically.
uppercut, a good back, like a back kick was like a great like huge damage doer, or like just using your spells well, or like your moves.
I'm
or
sorry,
whatever,
but
like,
anyone who thinks that blocking is a strategic move, you're just being a little puss.
Yeah, you're being a douche.
Well, just like you were saying,
Alright,
but so
just
then
fight
what
it
else
out.
is there?
You
Like
can either win or
so,
you can't.
So that means you basically have to like control like, okay, you're only allowed to do like one jump
Blocking
kick,
is
and then
lame.
you're
No,
only
it's
allowed like
I
two
think,
punches.
lame.
no, I
Like,
think
use
we
your
used to say
movement.
like you can jump kick like twice in a row, but don't do it again. And then like you have to figure out another way to attack. That was it. Like the thing was is we were like 7 or 8. Like
see, Doug,
you didn't
and-
have to be a douche. If somebody was a douche, one of them got
Dougie,
mad
I
and
know
went
you're
home.
playing devil's
you know, like,
advocate here.
No, I'm not.
But you
I hate
know
this
the
game.
level. You know the after like 1 or 2. You know the point that the jump kick is douchey.
Right,
After,
but
like,
okay,
one,
so
you're like, all right,
no,
he
okay,
just did
so, yeah,
one.
It's not
yeah,
gonna
no,
stop him from
I
doing
agree,
it. Yeah.
and I do, and I know, but if you're not doing the jump kick, then what are you doing? You're doing the sweep kick.
a spell.
If you're not doing the sweep kick, then you're just you're
But-
throwing
but
that
see,
repeatedly. So
but you know,
now
like,
what you're doing
but
is you're
you
telling
know
it like
what moves are douchey and
You're
what moves
basically
aren't douchey.
Dougie, like you let him get up.
Yeah,
That's it.
You
Like you don't
hold them
infinite
down,
combo.
you don't-
Like you let him make some sort of move after you.
Can you
kick
think
him
of
down
another
twice in a
game
row.
where you let the guy
Well,
get
no,
up when
because
he's
everything's
down,
online
or
and
when
it's all
he's
about
like
stats.
getting weaker and everything?
Well, no, it's just this because you're not going
Yeah,
to be a
but
douche
like,
to your buddy.
but see, like,
What about
think
WoW?
about this. But think about this,
wow, I
Dougie.
want to crush my buddy. That's the
You
thing.
want
like,
exactly.
and he'll just respawn. Like the thing was though.
So
Dougie,
what they
you only
did,
played
what they
with one
did is
person.
they incorporated
No, but
mechanics.
Dougie,
so you
but think about
couldn't
like
just
Call
do the
of Duty.
same thing over
Think
and over
about
and
Call
over
of Duty.
again.
If you get the jump on somebody and they're face away from you, and you start like shooting them with like a semi-weak weapon. A semi-weak weapon.
Yeah.
Jeez.
There you go. There you
Semi-weak weapon. It's not like they can't turn around. They just have to sit there and take it. No, they can turn around and start owning you. You have to kill them fast. Like in this game, if you start
so
like
you-
getting someone to jump down, there's nothing they can
Right.
do. They just have to
So-
sit there and take it. Like in games nowadays, there's something you can do to get around it. Back in these games,
Because they
you were
incorporated
just
those,
screwed.
and fighting games still don't have it. Fighting games still don't have because
yeah, it's still-
you keep hitting them with a jump kick, so
Oh,
they're like,
yeah.
okay, now
No.
we're going to incorporate a counter.
we're not trying
That's
to
what
say
I'm
that
saying.
fighting
Dougie,
has
I'm
been
not
fixed
saying
or
I'm not
anything.
saying like how like tournaments are played. I'm just saying when
When you were
played
playing
it
with
for
your
fun,
friends.
For
Yeah.
fun, there was no rush to get to the next game because
There
you
was
were just going to
no-
play against your buddy
there was
again
no
with the
need
guy
to-
that you
there was
like,
no
you know,
need to
like,
win
What
by
I'm saying
being a
is,
douche.
what I'm saying is like
Winning
you're-
like
what-
that is only good in tournaments. It's not good for
it's
pride.
fundamentally flawed what you're
That's
saying.
not
You're
an honorable win.
You're saying
All you tournament winners
you're saying
do
the
that,
guy.
you're douches.
You're saying that the game offers the man an opportunity if you shoot him with a weaker weapon. Well, just don't use a weaker weapon, and that's the same thing as doing a jump kick. My only point is that like these are the game mechanics of the game, and now you're like, well, okay, well we
I
can't
will
use
say,
those game
Dougie,
mechanics.
to what you were trying to start earlier in WoW. When I duel PAL right now, currently in MOP, I won't anymore start duels invisible and an instant sheep off the duel because it's just too cheap. I won't do it because it's not fun
yeah,
for me.
it's very
too
possible.
easy.
He could do it every single
I
time.
can guarantee a win every single duel I do by starting off invisible and sheeping, because if a mage gets the opener, you're going to win guaranteed 100%. No questions asked.
Right, and then they're going to nerf that. So,
it's
so my
coming.
point is,
But what I'm saying is,
what I mean
won't
is like
do that.
they.
What Pow is saying is, you can take it off. You can make your own rules to make the game
Fun.
less queer.
Don't use
make
an
it more fun.
Don't use an infinite combo. Or like sometimes we'd be like, hey, let's like work on this because it's fun. You know, like
Yeah.
there's only so much to do with the game. You know what I mean? So like it wasn't just like, hey, let's just fight to the death a million times or whatever. It was like, all right, hey, let's work on some fatalities. Or whatever.
Okay,
like you took
I
time to
think-
like try and bust out some
I think
fatalities and shit.
I think everybody can agree, though, there was a certain point, and I think it came pretty fast, that this game just was like,
Yeah,
I don't
that's-
play
at
it
least-
anymore.
Well, I played Street Fighter 2 a lot. I beat it with every character, broke at least 2 controllers doing it because it pissed me off so much. But it's just one of those things where I don't see if the game has progressed to a point where it's very different than what it was, then I'd be all about it.
Yeah.
But I feel like
There's no
it
evolution
doesn't
with
really
this.
progress anywhere, and it's still the same basic game that it was since Street Fighter 2.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
And so
yeah.
this does get a little bit of bad rap in terms of the hindsight of things, but even still, when you go back and think about it, you're like, man, yeah, I played this a lot,
Wait a
but I
minute.
bet if I had
Can we just
another
do a
game,
little-
I
are
would have
you
played that
unlocking
more.
Can we
shit
just do a little
right now?
side thing for our users here? You just made me think of this right there. Can we all think of, or if you haven't done it before, what your first game was that you broke a controller on?
Yeah, Mario.
No,
Which Mario?
1.
Street Fighter 2.
How did you break a controller on Mario 1?
You know those little spinning flame fuckers?
I was too young to get that pissed.
The
I was actually
was-
still young
I
enough
was-
during the original
You mean in
Mario.
like the dungeon levels?
Yeah,
To
I was a
quit.
master.
The spinning chain thing?
Yeah, I was a master at just smashing the B button down and being able to fly through levels like repeatedly. And there was one level that I was like, you know, have you ever like reached a point in your game where you're like, in my mind, and
You're
you
sort
can-
of on autopilot, you mean, right?
No,
Like when you're
not-
driving home and you're like, oh shit, I'm home.
Well, yeah, that
It's
too.
sort of like
but-
that. You're like flying
but-
through the game.
but
I was doing what?
You're supposed to leap over whatever, and you're like, no, I should have cleared that. And I realized there wasn't a whole lot of physics to that game, but you know when like
Oh, that part of
you know when
Mario.
you get like the friggin' flame right up the ass and he freezes. There was every fucking time I'd hit that
A
goddamn
nice
thing,
little...
and he'd freeze, and I'd be like, It's not even fucking touching, and I literally
Yeah,
that's why
I mean,
that's why my Super Nintendo
was
no
still-
longer exists.
Super Nintendo.
Tom,
Yeah, I
angry.
smashed the
Oh, so
goddamn
you were playing
console.
Super Mario
Oh,
Brothers?
you were playing
no,
on
no,
All-Stars.
no,
Mario
the original.
World.
No,
You
the
were playing
original.
on
I'm sorry.
All-Stars.
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
okay,
It was
okay,
the
okay,
NES.
Okay,
But
well,
I
the,
did smash the console.
Okay.
the thing is the first one was definitely for me Street Fighter 2.
And
it is.
I just want to point out
play
how
as
much of an
Dalsim,
achievement that
you will
was for
break a
you,
controller.
Tommy, to be a young child. That control was a brick. That was an impressive feat to even.
Oh no,
like,
because I didn't actually break it. I picked it up by the cord and used it as a
Oh,
mace and
the
smashed it on one of the support poles
Excellent
in the basement.
technique.
speed
Excellent
and then
technique.
whip into the
Because
wall.
it was the
Very nice,
controller,
very
and then I
nice.
just picked up the console because I still had a Sega. I had a Sega at that point,
So
and I was
FBNES.
literally like, "Fuck this shit," and threw it against the wall. And I
And I was grinding for 2 weeks. Right?
no.
No.
My-
Your parents were probably like, all right.
well,
That
Mario
makes-
ruined
that
Nintendo
was
for
my job,
Tommy
dude.
That was back
for his
in the day.
entire life.
That was back in the day. My dad actually played Mario, so
Yeah.
he was even more disappointed than I was. And looking back on it now, I wish I hadn't, because how many people have a working NES these days?
About 10.
I got.
Exactly.
I
Yeah,
have
but I mean-
2 of them. I think in my
Yeah.
house.
Powers to it.
It was definitely Street Fighter 2. Just, it was, and I know it was Dalsim versus Vega.
The fact that you
Be-
can remember the
because he
plays is
jumps up
amazing.
on the fence, and as Dalsim, you have no defense. There's nothing you can do, because even if you block, it still does a ton of damage to you.
Yeah.
And then you sit there and try to hit him, but you can't do anything because he's already all up in your shit,
I can,
having claw sex with your face.
Yeah.
let me. I
Fatality.
can right now, off the top of my head,
Yeah,
tell
well
you
played.
console and game to how they met their demise.
I never broke a console. I was always very careful not to go
I
after
never
the
broke a
console. Yeah, I made controllers. I took it out all on them.
Yeah.
My first controller break was actually on the PlayStation. I was a relatively calm gamer until Tony Hawk. And me and my brother used to just have tournaments in our custom-made maps, because that was one of the awesome
Yeah, that
features.
was
And you
a
put
really
in all
cool
the
thing.
codes, so you had unlimited bounce, everything like that. We played battle games. And we made like infinite... Wow. Fatality. For our YouTube users.
And
Again,
I don't know if you
listeners,
remember,
go
but
there.
earlier we were talking about getting a hand job from her.
Yeah, that's what it would be like. So
That's a real dick
think about
skinner.
that. Think about that.
Her grip is a little tight.
Just yeah, we
Anyway,
snug.
you're
We
You're gonna want to
snug.
be a little generous on the passing.
So our custom games going
You're
like
gonna want to
the,
just use that whole bottle there, baby.
All right, but Dal, while you tell the story, I'm
going
gonna
to the
go-
going to the infinite loop
Take a
for the
leak.
grinds and just like fighting each other and sitting there, and we had been going for like 20 minutes, something like that, and I was killing him because I knew how to do like little jumps while you're grinding, stuff like that, just killing him in points. And then as we were coming about to go past each other again, he just ball taps me.
Always-
This is when we were like
It's always
12
great. It's always
and 9.
it's always great to
12
take the
and 9.
virtual world to the physical with a good old
Yeah.
sturdy
So,
ball
I'm
tap
trying-
to distract your
trying
opponent.
desperately to grab the controller, and then he hits me, melees me, I guess is the best term, as he goes by me, knocks me off my
Oh, what is
skateboard, and I
going-
have
is she
0
doing?
points to his like 20 million.
Oh god,
A
that is
friendship.
so queer. You just witnessed
just
one of the
did that?
gayest things. in
Who just
video
did that?
game
Who?
history.
Dude, okay.
Billy.
Our
Our producer just did that friendship.
I
don't
just
even know
want to
what
say
is, but
that
you should be ashamed
one
of
of
yourself.
the greatest things about unconnected consoles, like unconnected to the internet, was cheat codes. Now, granted, they still include them, but it does like all kinds of things. Like, I feel like when you got the cheat code, and you could
they
just
don't
go
allow
through,
them online. And-
right?
And the ones, well, and it's called hacking if you do online. If you put in like unlimited health, unlimited ammo, it's
What
called
the
hacking,
fuck?
and it is. But yeah, they don't have things like this anymore.
Let me just float this out there. Can you
Not online,
imagine?
anyways.
And I feel really bad or sad, I
That
should
was
say, for the
weird.
kids these days. Can you imagine how ruined our video games would have been if everything we played you could have played online?
I feel like there's a
That's
It's
not
not
what
even that.
It would have
no, no,
ruined
no.
video
What
games.
ruined
for
video
me.
games is downloadable content.
no.
Because people
No,
were like,
no.
hey, I can just put
No,
up
no,
this
no, no.
game and I
I
can
w-
fix it later on.
Yeah.
I think it's assholes that are online that
Oh, well,
hack
yeah.
the game.
Or
Well,
they
that.
or they make
And
it
just
that you have to
assholes.
play
Well,
It's
online.
just assholes in
you have to
general.
be very specific when you're talking about what ruined.
Ooh, nice.
What
Whoa,
ruined
Nice
that was
finisher.
glorious.
Kiss of death.
You have to be specific
Get some
with
good
what
finishers,
not
fatalities,
genre,
YouTube
but
users.
what platform you're referring to
What
when
do
you
you
talk
mean?
about the death of video games.
No,
you were
no,
just
no,
talking
I'm,
about.
No, I'm saying like
Video game community.
take
like,
these video
Right,
games
well, that's what
like
I mean.
as they
Yeah.
were when we were kids, but allow them to be online. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
would have ruined video games for us.
I don't
you would
know.
have had
I think
like
it-
30-year-old men screaming at you.
I think it's great
But
what
you
like
still do.
or
Yeah, I don't
25-year-olds.
think 7-year-olds and 30-year-olds should be
Yeah,
playing games. I don't think you make
yeah.
games like that.
Yeah, I've been banned from Xbox for
Yeah.
words.
Dougie's
I've
been
used.
banned for
twice.
saying words.
Well, I mean,
to
like,
people.
I think
He
I think
knows.
Xbox Live is great now. I think it's at a time where you can get away with it because the games have reached that point.
Well, that's why I said you have to be very specific because compare the communities that you might use on the communities you might have on Xbox Live versus on the PC.
yeah.
They're very different.
Oh yeah.
Like
What is
consoles,
going on right
consoles
now?
is
It
all
took a while
about
for PC to
I don't
become
know.
what consoles are.
like consoles are very about the next big thing,
Yeah.
and PC gamers are very dedicated to the games that they like.
Yeah, but
So it's very
They-
different.
they
There's also
they
a very
were.
different mindset to PC gamers than there are console gamers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine if you were
No,
playing
that's
this
exactly
game.
what
though.
you said.
Imagine
You're
if
right.
you were playing this game. You know, you're fucking 10 years old, whatever. Back in the heyday, you're playing this game online against somebody you don't know.
I
Random matchup. They've
wouldn't-
you don't even know it. They've hacked the game. They just fucking one punch you.
Yeah,
Like, how fun is that?
it's not.
It's not, but the sad thing is like if that was the mentality back then, or if that was the situation back then, you'd never fucking play this. You'd never play at all.
Nightwolf is not
Yeah.
allowed to.
Yeah.
Look at
Is
him.
he jacking him off?
He wants to. He wants
He
to.
is.
He
He
is
is
trying
sta-
to if he's not.
That.
Oh,
That's the. Oh.
Oh.
And then he died? What?
He couldn't because you rejected
Who
him.
knows?
cheat codes. We'll have to turn off the extended fatality to see if that.
This is still
Yeah.
funny as hell though.
Yeah, it's quite entertaining.
The
Oh, I just saw the one button fatalities enabled.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
God.
Yeah, not as impressive.
YouTube
No, it's-
users, you've already known this
You know
is
what?
ruined, but
You know what?
it just ruined it
all
for me.
all the fatalities were for is to make you keep plugging quarters, dude.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
Because it's
No,
just like,
yeah.
oh, I got to keep trying and trying and trying and trying, dude. It's like if I wanted to go memorize something, I'd go memorize a script and be an actor.
This is one of those games that was.
Like, eat my cock.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but
Awful.
I felt like no, it went
Oh,
from
okay.
arcade. And it was awful. Went from arcade to console.
Yeah, for sure.
Mo-
Yeah.
I think most
Yeah.
games
Same
And
as
at this point,
were
yeah.
well. I'd say it was probably about 50-50 total guess, but it seems like a lot of the games, even when you
Fatality.
maybe not PlayStation and N64, but certainly when you talk about Sega and Super Nintendo, I would say there's probably
Yeah,
close to a
Sonic.
50-50 where everything was on in the arcade. The arcades were still huge in the early
Yeah.
90s.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Like
Definitely.
like I remember as a kid, like I had a Super Nintendo and a regular Nintendo and Atari and Sega and everything that I really wanted, but
I
man, you
remember
always wanted to
still
go to
going
that
play-
arcade because they had
yeah.
all the games.
I
Because you had
remember
just
still
a,
going because there
a
were so
plethora of stuff
certain
to
like
choose from.
really good games that you could only get at the arcade. Like
And it's because, the graphics were better in arcade games. Like
They
the, tech- the
seemably.
technology was like ahead
this
of
is-
it because it was
like,
this is
basically
still at a
computers
time-
running a game.
This is still
yeah,
at a time
it was
when
a
you
nicer screen
when,
than your TV was. That
Yeah,
was
Yeah,
why.
you didn't have the giant TVs
Yeah.
that you
That
did. You
too.
have that friggin' TV that's like a foot wide,
And
you
just,
were having playing on
he's
that.
pointing
Yeah.
to what I am going to say is a 19-inch 1985 Phillips.
no,
Dude, I think
1980s.
no, that is actually
It
that's
feels
actually
like it's that
relatively
old.
new.
Yeah, I was
It's
just saying
a
that's
flat
like a
screen. It's
relatively
2010.
2010.
But
You
I
know-
would say
you know
you're
it
reaching
was-
with 19.
You
I'd
know it was
say
good because the
15.
coax is in
Yeah.
front.
No, it's a 20.
Anyways, it
Ready
is
for
the TV
business.
for the workout room, which we're currently recording in.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
No, it's glorious.
Oh my god, ridiculous.
Nice.
I love him.
Nice
Friendship.
friendship.
Is he waving out a
Who
fart?
did the
Is that what
friendship
he was
this
doing?
time? Was
No,
it
he's
Billy
waving
again?
people through.
Dude,
Producer.
I gotta tell you though, that's so
I don't know if the
gimmicky.
producer is fitting in with us. He's doing friendship
Like
kills.
friendship.
I do
no.
friendship
We wa-
kills.
The only the really the thing that I really only like about Mortal Kombat was the brutalities and the fatalities.
That's really the only thing I like.
I love the brutalities because you could never actually bust out those 50-hit combos that they had.
I know,
Nice
I like
nade
the
to
moves.
dick.
Like that little one right there, Sub-Zero was doing where he's shooting the ice up over.
Yeah.
I mean,
they
the
had some
moves
cool
were
moves,
cool.
but- Oh my god,
Look at that!
red.
Look at that!
How does that make any
All right.
sense?
I mean, yeah, how does it make any
Why,
sense?
why
Don't-
did
it
the
don't have
Kombat
to.
turn into a fucking
It don't have to.
Tyrannosaurus Rex?
It don't have to fucking matter. It doesn't have to make
Animality.
sense.
It doesn't have to matter.
How perfect.
Shit doesn't have to matter.
All right, I didn't time that, by the way. Completely awesome. But yeah, see, it just had cool moves like that, like stuff like that defined.
The what it is
And a
for
book
me
that you bought.
when
Yeah.
when I think of
Or with the cheat codes you
because as
enabled.
we discussed earlier with which you still need to do powers, we discussed the first game that you broke your controller.
Oh, yeah,
with,
you
right?
still need to do yours,
Street
Pat.
Fighter 2, right?
Yeah.
That's the kind of memories I have when I play fighting games. Is just that total frustration of all I'm trying to do is punch the dude. Why can't I do that?
See, I only ever played fighting games when I was.
Oh my god, that's so stupid.
Wow.
So stupid.
Whoa.
That's just dumb.
All right, but I want to hear
Alright.
this, Powers. You ever break a controller?
The
I
only
would
co-
almost be
well,
surprised if you said yes.
I've had a couple of controllers that have broken, but not
too
from me.
angry.
My dog's eating a N64
No, that's
stick.
not.
Dude,
I
your
think
dog
I
is
think
an
since
asshole.
Super Nintendo, I've broken a controller on every system.
Yeah.
I don't know. I rarely ever got hung up in games. I was just great.
Let's see, Super Nintendo, I broke on Street Fighter 2.
I never
I'd
broke
have
a
to think
Super
about
Nintendo.
PlayStation.
I broke a couple PlayStation controllers.
And this is out of anger, though. This isn't like because I played
yeah.
so much. Yeah.
No,
yeah,
this
yeah.
is like sitting Indian style on my like floor, and then just like
You-
Al
you- no, no.
knocking me off
You're-
the board on like my
No, no,
2
no.
million point thing, and just
Every
grabbing it
time.
and smashing in the ground, just
Every
breaking up half
time-
of it, being like,
A couple times, I only broke one by throwing, and that was playing Gears of War. the
I've never
first
broken
one,
by throwing.
right?
Mine are always slamming
No,
into the
mine
floor.
are always because I hold the controller and I just press in and try to snap it in half. But I do it so hard that you hear stuff going as you're doing it, and then I'm like, okay, that feels good. Because you know that anger you get. Sometimes you just get so angry, like I gotta break something. Like video games are like the only time I actually get that angry, where I'm like, destruction is what I need right now. I don't know if that's just me, but
I don't think that's.
I've gotten much more relaxed since I've gotten slightly
Pal?
less competitive with video games. But
If
it,
you
it
don't
was
think
bad.
that, we need to record you after some arenas in WoW.
Yeah, but I've never broken anything. That's the thing. Like,
Oh,
You've
no,
never,
you've
like,
never
but
broken
have you-
anything,
have
but
you
ever,
you
like-
have gotten.
But have you ever like grabbed your
Yes.
mouse and squeezed it to the point where
No.
you're just like, I want this thing to shatter
No.
into like 50 pieces, and just like I want to feel the
No,
pain
that's the
of
thing.
the
No.
shards in
I
my
wouldn't
hand.
do
You know
that.
what you do?
Like, you get-
what I do is I
How
take.
everybody
I
watches
do-
that.
yeah.
You do the slow push, where you just kind of like gently
so awesome.
shove your keyboard, where you're like, you know what, screw this. You just
Oh,
like,
God.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
very
either-
he's very passive aggressive with his
you
anger.
have a very
I'm-
calm.
I'm gonna give you
demeanor.
my options.
You have
I
a very
either-
calm.
I have the
Ex-
slow push away
expulsion of
to
your
walk
rage.
away, go smoke, or I have the pick up my mouse and pretending like I'm gonna throw it through the TV.
Yes, you do
pre-
that a
that's,
lot, too.
That's
See,
pretty
I-
specific.
Yes.
Or I stand up
You actually
and
do that.
I don't know. I've actually come close to actually doing it because I want to do it so bad. Sparta kicking the TV like through the wall.
I've never,
I've-
never,
There were a couple
ever,
times where I thought
Yeah.
you were going to.
I've faked done it a few times. But
I have never
that's about
injured
it. I
any of
wouldn't
my
actually break it.
my
Yeah.
children.
Maybe I should just
And by
go through
children,
the
I mean
motions
televisions.
of doing the anger.
Never-
of actually
never
going
the TV.
through with it, and that'll be good
I've
enough.
done. I've fixed I've actually I actually only fix PCs when I hit them. Because I'm only kicking them because like you get the blue screen and you're like, you fucking piece of
And then, like,
shit,
jiggle
and then you
something in
kick it as
place.
hard as you can, and then you restart it and it works like.
See,
a
I've always
champ.
like saved my money and just barely been able to
Consoles
buy
I
a
stay away
PC,
from.
so it's always been like put me very poor. So I've always treated them very delicately.
See, that's how I was with gaming systems. I think it's like if
It was-
I
it
broke
was
a
almost-
controller,
See, the
you know what? I was gonna get a
controllers-
fucking Mad
See,
Catz
the
controller,
well,
and I
see, that
didn't
was the
fucking
thing.
want to play with a
Me
Mad
and-
Catz controller.
we
I
had,
like
like-
the real controller,
Yeah.
and my
we had
parents
like
were not
8
gonna buy me a new
controllers
one.
from like
Yeah,
friends
neither
and
were
stuff like that,
mine.
bringing them and
exactly.
leaving them. Like
just played
when
with
we
a broken
broke
one.
it was like, all right, I'm just gonna pick up this little crappier one,
Yeah,
but
Mad
it's still
Catz.
alright.
That's what I'm saying. It
wasn't-
wasn't alright to me.
It wasn't a Mad Catz
played
one.
with
There
a-
were some other. PlayStation
Dude,
had some legit.
Don't you damage your
controller
stuff.
brands.
Don't you damage your stuff, little Eric. Otherwise, we're gonna buy you a Mad Catz.
No, the thing was, no.
All right, I just want to point
I
out
swore
that the
on
Mad
that day
Catz Mini,
I would never destroy a
the clear
controller.
Mad Catz Mini for the Xbox was amazing. amazing.
Awful.
Loved
I
that
fucking
controller.
hated all
That was
the-
my favorite controller.
the joysticks
Billy, the
were
producer, for
sticky
those who
at
can't see
best.
this,
They
everyone,
sucked,
he is
dude.
nodding
Yeah.
saying yes.
Like, have you ever imagined just S&D? Because that's the Mad Cats.
So bad.
Yeah, like the
Alright.
joysticks, like
Alright,
it
I
took
just wanna
so
point
long
out
to
that
activate before it just
no
like
matter
then it would
what
click
you-
and then
What your opinion is, Mad Catz is one of the only brands that is allowed in MLG.
yeah, and for some reason they continue to somehow be successful.
Really?
I don't know
What's
anybody
that-
who knows
What's
Mad
that
Cat, but I like
360
Mad Cats.
controller that we?
Actually, as far as I know,
That
the,
was
the only
His
one allowed in
Dougie
MLG
Super
is,
Gamer controller.
Yeah, what was that?
That was
one?
the
Which one?
Razer.
Yeah, why don't they allow that?
That would
I
give you an
don't know.
advantage.
they may.
Yeah, I love that
but-
thing, but it shit the bed on me. real
dude.
quick.
That's the only problem I had with that controller. It felt just like some beautiful titties in your hands when
Yeah.
you're playing.
Yeah.
Like that's how it just felt.
Oh,
It
the
felt
thing
like,
it was
literally the two
glorious.
triggers felt
I-
like you were like pulling two. Real
That's
Yeah,
literally
and then-
why I
and then
stopped playing Modern Warfare 3
Yeah.
is because that controller broke and I was like, I'm not good anymore.
Dude,
Yeah,
as soon
yeah,
as I
it's-
grabbed the triggers,
it's
I was
tough.
like, ooh.
But
Ooh, wait, these
it
are-
doesn't take them long.
It
before,
wasn't even
it's
the-
usually the joystick that like
It was the
it
trigger
starts
for me.
pulling.
Okay,
no,
can I just
like
throw it out there?
the joysticks always end up like just having that little bit of
Yeah,
sag,
but I
like they
got-
do with Mario Party.
I got the
They
one
use it
without
too
the
much.
adjustable joysticks and the
Oh,
trigger.
okay.
the
Who
trigger
remembers
one.
the airflow controllers?
Sucked.
God.
I fucking
No,
I
they
loved
did
the size.
no, the
and I loved the fans. They
yeah,
were
the
awesome.
fans on the hands were amazing.
The fans on the hands were amazing.
That's what did
The
it.
reaction times were a little slow and stuff,
I don't even remember. I just
like
remember
the
going
size.
airflow.
but
It just
the-
sounds so good.
just turning on and be like,
Yeah,
and
and
the
just
entire
like,
time you're
yeah,
playing,
buddy.
you came and you hear
I-
the game, and
You know what
I like-
controllers I liked? The ones that came with the systems that were good.
Yeah, they're usually the best.
Those ones. The
I
rest of them sucked in.
would agree
False.
with that.
The end.
Do you ever remember
I
having,
hate
like,
no.
Except
Yeah,
for
you were one
DualShock.
of the players who
DualShock
played
always
with the beast.
Dude, I played with the Duke.
The
Well, have you seen the
Duke.
size of those fucking
Dude,
goddamn?
I have
Dude,
long
gr-
fingers, alright?
Yeah,
I need
your hands
like,
are comparable
seriously.
to Gronk's.
That's what I'm
For
saying.
those
I
of
use
you
like
who don't
I
know what
use
the
little
Duke
controllers
is,
and my fingers like cramp
Anyone who
up,
played
like, I have to have
original
one of those big
Xbox,
ass
you
ones.
remember that they
Did
had
you
the
use that
original
big
Xbox
duh? You got a
controller,
stroke.
which
Yeah.
was like
I got big hands from a
mediocre
big
size,
Duke.
medium size, and then
That's
they
why I
had
got
the
big hands.
Duke, which
God
was
graced me with big hands.
maybe
which means I got a big
double
dick.
the size of the original Xbox controller, or something like that. It was ginormous.
Yeah, it's awesome.
What was that?
Biggest
liked
flaw,
it.
the
Just
cord
don't
would,
be
would fray
People
off
liked it.
right at the back of it,
Yeah.
and then they stopped making it. So
Probably
you
because
only
from
had
the
one
weight of the
chance.
controller.
I actually do want to know
Breaking from
though,
the weight,
Wrapping
just
it up.
like
breaking and snapping,
what
holding
you
it.
actually think of this game, Tommy.
me?
Yeah. I mean, I mentioned earlier in passing during your little spiel that you made about something that I don't remember, and I mentioned that it sucked, and you agreed.
It like when I was a kid, yeah. I think it was the forbidden fruit because like I
You
said,
could
my
play
parents
it.
would like didn't want to rent it for me, but when I was allowed, it was cool, but like
It was
was
like
like-
I feel like it was like the shock effect of just like wow,
It was
look at
like-
how gory this is.
yeah,
and stuff
you'd
like
find that guy that you really liked and you go through the tournament and beat it and then you just start playing every other character.
that?
Direct rip off of
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, fact.
I like smoke where you
Cyrax is
That was
Predator.
awesome.
Predator's name is Cyrax in the native tongue.
Fact. I read
It's a
that
true story.
somewhere.
I read it on Wikipedia.
I don't know. I just feel like the replay
He's like the samurais of the Predators.
wasn't there.
Well, that's what I mean. It's just I feel like I can always grab a fighting game and play it a few times and say, oh, that's kind of neat, that's kind of nifty. But it's just like, dude, this.
Yeah, but like
it-
nowadays, like who, like
Is it
if
really
a
any
Soul
different?
if a Soul Calibur game dropped tomorrow, like who the fuck would be lining up at GameStop to get
Oh,
people
it?
do
yeah.
though. That's
It's
what I don't.
so
I don't-
stupid though.
because there's just that goes into the same thing. They move different ones have moved towards like combo based stuff. Different
Yeah.
ones have moved towards your simple. But like,
think,
look
like-
at Soul Calibur.
See,
It
people
really
like
just comes
that,
down
like,
to the same
repetitive
move.
Thing, like,
I
have
think the
to do
biggest thing
this
that Soul
pattern in
Calibur
this
has
order
now
at this
is
time.
the special characters. It doesn't fucking matter what character you get. You get the same goddamn story. You get the same dude in round 3. You get the same dude in round 4. But when you get to the special characters, that's cool. But like once you friggin' played through it with like
Well, see,
whatever guys you want,
That's what
you're
like
fucking
people
done.
love is they love the predictability. They love being able to know.
I hate, yeah,
this
but
person- yeah. See,
I guess
the
I'm
same
just
way
one of
as
those
you.
guys that I hate the
it. Like,
predictability.
I love new stuff. I love exploring. I love seeing new things.
I-
But a lot of people like
I-
knowing what's coming, knowing what to do, knowing they can beat it, and
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, I mean,
putting
it's
minimal
like if
effort
you
into it and just
have a
getting good
first-person
results.
shooter, you can play through it on the easy level, fly through it. You crank it up a notch, and you get like little side missions, secondary objectives, whatnot, little unlockable. And you play it on the fucking hard level just because you can. There's nothing like this. You play it on the hard level. You play it on the hard level, and
then they start playing it like a repetitive, like the douches that Pow said he doesn't even allow.
like,
That's
you can
that's
play
how
this-
the computer plays on hard.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, if you played this game because you knew you could do a repetitive combo and win over and over, and that's why you loved this game, then you're a douche.
But
like, no, seriously, then you're not playing a game for fun.
The only
that's not fun.
the only reason that I played this game is because you wanted to beat the person you're playing against. That's
Yeah,
why you
exactly.
played this
But you
game,
don't
and
play
so
like
it
a
was just
douche.
like you. Well, it was just about I'm just gonna win and beat you.
Well,
That's why I
that's
just
not
was
how,
never
That's not how we
into-
were when we were little. I don't know. We just weren't. I mean, we were
I would-
competitive. Like, we did play games like, all right, all out, do whatever the fuck you want. But
I mean, yeah, if you want
Just
to be a
most
douche
ga-
to
yeah.
your friends and play,
It only
like,
takes
the-
it only
the
takes
high
like
jump
half a
kick
second
over and
before you
over
just
and
like
over.
high jump 4 times
Dude,
in a row, and then you just
the
go
sad
later.
thing is, I think I had more fun playing that. I distinctly remember being at Doug's house when we were well into our late teens, playing this late at night, just fucking hopped up on sugar and just mashing the shit out of buttons. Whoopsie! And just fucking shitting our pants laughing. But I think that was more for nostalgia than anything else.
that's the thing. I
yeah.
think we take for granted, like, the before time of internet. Like
in the before time.
no, seriously, like think about it, like
In
even
the year 2000.
yeah, no,
Tell me
seriously,
of the before
basically
times.
like around that time. Think about it, like Halo.
Yeah.
The original Halo wasn't even online. Like, we take for granted that we used to
I'm
have to
looking-
get together and play with people, and like the feel of a game was different when you were in the room with people as opposed to just
No,
sitting online.
I do agree. I just feel that when you get on and play a fighting game,
Now,
your
yeah.
job, even before when you played a fighting game, it was to win.
what that means.
Unless you're
When,
7.
if you're playing NFL Blitz and you can only play against your buddy,
Yeah.
you're playing to win.
Yeah,
I'll tell
but,
you-
but
that's-
not
so
if
I
you're going
feel
to
like-
end a round in 10 seconds and just keep repeating the same round over and
I
over.
don't
Like,
know.
you're
I
just, it wasn't
disagree with you,
fun.
Dougie, because when I play, like, no offense to you, Livey, right now, but when I duel Livey, when we were doing Kata and I was on my rogue dueling Livey, I knew my rogue insanely well, and I would kind of just like have fun with it. Like when I dueled him on my mage, I actually kind of had to try because his class was good against my mage.
Right. So,
But I would have fun with it. I wouldn't
But
just
you
sit
took
there
pity.
and just own him real fast.
but part
That's not fun.
part of what you do when you duel in WoW is just to get better and learn more about your class.
Yes.
And to help you, this
Well, yeah,
is
that's what I'm
just.
saying. We did a lot of that though.
But you're already at the peak of
Fucking
peak of
Sub-Zero.
skill by doing the repeated jump kicks. That's my whole thing. Like, yeah, you can do little things
If you,
so
that's
that
the thing. Yeah,
like,
you can play it like a douche if you want to, Doug. I've been saying it the whole time.
But see,
Like, you
yeah,
can do jump
you
kicks,
just
but
said,
that's not experiencing
like you just
the game.
Said, one of the fun things of dueling is finding out things about your class.
Yeah.
One of the fun things about this game was just practicing combos against each other, like
Or,
finding like ways like how to combo against
Or like
a
see
combo.
what
But I feel like-
powers
I
are
feel
and how
like-
they work.
Yeah,
and-
if you
one
were
of the
trying,
follies
if you're trying to only win and go only for that and not have fun with your buddy
without
and just
online
kill
play,
them, yeah,
you can
that was-
only play your buddy, which means yeah, you can learn different things, but he just learned those same things. So you're not really progressing anymore.
I think you're
Like,
both getting
you're
better
both
because
progressing.
you're learning your character.
Yeah.
And then where do you take that?
Then eventually you just don't do douche combos and you play your classes to the fullest
Dude,
ability.
he just ate her health.
But what I'm saying is like
Dude, think about it. That's gonna-
everything in here is a douche move that you can repeat. So
barely able to
at
watch
that
that.
point, you basically have to go, okay, well, I can't jump kick twice in a row, so I can only do it once, and
No,
then I'm
no,
going to
you
do this,
just,
and then
no, you
this,
just
and then,
say
like-
you don't do anything more than twice in a row. The
Dude,
end.
can I just...
Play the game to
But
its
then,
fullest
but then
every
it's just like 2 in a row, 2 in a row, 2 in a row, 2 in a row. Like I understand that, like yeah, like what you're trying to do is like do almost like little mini games, I guess you want to call them, like doing just different things on your own, but they're not readily available to you at the start.
Yes,
like they
you're
don't just say,
playing devil's
"Here's all the
advocate
things."
for the
that you-
game right now.
No,
you
I
know
think
what
it's
he's trying
terrible.
to say for what he did to make the game right.
But I don't play. don't play against a friend just to do random things unless it's like, oh
Just to
hey,
have
can
fun.
you hop on and be this character
Yes,
and try
but
to do
you
this
didn't-
move to figure it out?
Yes, but see, you didn't hop on back in the day. Your friend came over and you were spending the day together.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
You weren't
Yeah,
going to
and
play
usually-
for like 5 minutes
and usually-
be a douche and get him pissed off, and then you didn't want to hang out for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
You were going to have fun the whole day,
yeah,
just
like
trying
like
shit out.
like you were hanging out from
if
like
you did,
noon
if you did
until
that
the
shit,
next afternoon.
if you tried to pull
like-
that shit early in the day, people would get pissed off and they wouldn't want to hang out the rest
Yeah,
of
they'd
the
be like,
day.
all right, well, let's not play Mortal Kombat anymore. I hope you had a fun time.
Can I
because
just
that
tell
was
you guys
lame.
what these kind of video games instilled in us? And I think I was the only one that did it because
Hatred
you,
for D-bags?
that too.
Yeah.
But because you guys got on the original Xbox a long time before I did.
Yeah.
I remember when I first got Halo, and the first question I think I asked Dougie or Badaw, I was like, "How do you enable cheats?" They're like, "There are no cheats." I was like, "What? Why do I want to play this?" Because like I came off the N64 right into the Xbox, and I was like, "Why the fuck don't any of these games have cheats?"
Riddled
Yeah, they
with
should.
shit.
Yeah, you just wanted
What
to
the
have
fuck?
you wanted to have like a whole bunch
It's
of
not-
guns, like GoldenEye.
Yeah,
and have,
it's
like, all the
not that I
different
wanna.
characters.
It's not that I want to
Yeah.
be that guy. I just like I played through the game, and now I just want to have fun with it.
Yeah.
And I honestly couldn't do that. And I think I missed that.
I guess I just never saw. I understand how you could do this not like a douche. I don't see the point. Play another game.
Dude, I think everybody.
that's like,
Everybody-
I can't have
I'm
fun
just
with it
saying,
because like I
at
understand
one
like
point-
okay let me try to do other things, but then when I'm like no, I know what I want to do but I can't do it, then it just becomes
Yeah, but think
frustration.
about it. At one point, this game was like the peak of technology. This was the game that literally everybody was playing. Like
And yet
almost nobody picked it up at the time and said, "Oh man, you can do a bunch of repetitive shit. This is dumb. I'm gonna
I
put it
think-
down."
I
And
think
Mortal Kombat's
I-
dumb. Like it wouldn't have been so successful.
I
If
snuck
everybody
away.
didn't
I
like
snuck
that,
away
except
to
for
a
you.
neighbor's house to play the original Mortal Kombat, which is the only time that I was even allowed. And then I don't think I picked up Mortal Kombat, or really any fighting game after the original Mortal
Dude,
Kombat.
I
I
tell
didn't
you-
pick one up until Trilogy came out. And the only reason I even played it is because Billy wanted to play it, and he liked fighting games, and I didn't
Right.
already at that time.
So,
Dude, I
so
tell you,
your
I just-
vision
I-
is skewed because you don't like fighting games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I
But
think
that's-
I'm
but-
in the, I'm
but
in the
that just
same
means-
boat.
Yeah, so Doug,
But what
tell
I'm
me
saying
about
is
that.
like, so yeah, I can see the things that you could do, but where's the
Well,
entertainment
see,
in
so
it?
maybe
like
that's
you're
why
trying
we
to
have
win.
fun with
I mean,
fighting
yeah.
games and you don't.
That's
you
I'm-
don't see the
I'm-
That's just your opinion.
Yeah.
I'm insanely super competitive when it comes to video games.
See,
All
so
right.
am
Can be
I,
too,
but I
but-
think like
And-
Madden and sport games are completely stupid. I don't think
They're
there's a point to
terrible.
them.
They piss me off so much.
percentage-based thing that you have
It's
no control.
You know what? You know what I can I can compare Madden to? Mortal Kombat 3. You find the same thing that works and execute it every time.
See, exactly.
to
I do
win.
the same thing. If
All
I was
right.
playing with my buddies and he found one play that
Dougie,
worked
to
over
put
and
this
over,
in-
and
and
you
they
don't-
always, and they
Dougie,
always have
put
one.
this
and
in
never
a way
even
that
win.
you can
You're a
think.
douche,
To put this
I'm
in a
not.
perspective for you. To make Mortal Kombat fun, it would be like playing Halo original
with no pistols.
with no pistols, no rocket launchers,
That's exactly how you made
and
us
no
play
new
Doug.
comboing.
And we all hated that. Like you were just so against it that we went with it. And so that's like the exact opposite end of the spectrum.
I can
like,
honestly admit I was a pistol horn.
we all
Everyone
loved the pistol.
was.
That's what I'm saying, and that's why Dougie didn't
And there
like
was-
it. He's like,
there was
"Oh,
no
fuck
skill.
yeah, we're not playing."
And it was
the
a
pistol
jump.
anymore. And
Exactly.
we all went along with it.
So you just
But-
defended the point that I've been making, which is jump kick, jump kick, jump kick, jump kick, jump kick.
no, but that's
douche
what I'm
move,
saying.
douche move, douche move. So now then I'm like, no, we're not going to be douches
And
and
we
play
did
with
it.
the pistol. And then you're just like,
No, and we
man,
did it.
I want to be a douche and play with the pistol.
No,
That's
but we
like,
didn't.
that's what I'm saying.
No,
Like,
that's what I'm saying. But we went along and we didn't do it. We all definitely played games with no pistols, and you guys all know it. We definitely
No,
played
we
games
did.
with no pistols.
What
But
Pat was
that's-
saying
so
is that
that's what
possible.
we used to do.
You're saying it's not
Like,
possible
that's
to
what I'm
play
saying.
like that.
Like,
What I'm saying
we
is,
used
like-
to do it
And
for
you
years.
just
That's what we
admitted
used to
that we
do.
have played
there's-
like that.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
So that's how
And
we
so-
were when we were
play the
7.
games like
we just
that,
made a
and they
deal.
can be fun.
You're not going to use pistols, which
That's
was
exact-
3 jump kicks
it's
in a
the
row.
same
Mine
thing.
that way.
It's
Now,
the same
there
thing.
were
You just made
there
rules.
were times in Halo 2.
Now compare the first-person shooter gameplay to only two guys, not 16
No,
different
you don't
guys
need-
beating each other
No,
up.
it's just making a rule outside of the game that could possibly take away from the game, but it's something you could do in the
Oh,
game.
got
That's all
That's
it
how
is.
like so many custom game types of current first-person shooters have gotten made is popular custom game types that everyone's like, oh yeah, let's make this a main game type. You
Like
know,
SWAT.
maybe like SWAT.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, let's make no shields, headshots or instant kills.
Why
and
the
then
fuck
it's like,
would you
oh,
play
hey.
like that? Oh wait, because it's kind of fun. It makes it
And
more
then now
fun.
it's a main
Exactly.
game type.
Exactly.
When you play SWAT like that, that brings out your
Sometimes
inner
making your
skill.
own special rules for the game actually makes it better.
Now
than
take
the
now take the
original
Halo
design.
example,
Challenges
which
you
you've
more.
been using, in which you've been using the example at least between 2 people, or at least 4 people. Now just make it you and a buddy doing it, and then all of a sudden you realize like, oh,
In
like,
a 1v1?
but the normal
Yeah,
game
that's all it
modes,
is.
Dude,
the
even-
normal game modes were still fun to play.
Even-
Sure, the pistol pissed me off because it didn't take any skill to do, but we
Neither
still
did the
played a
jump kick.
shitload of fucking games
But that's what I'm
with
saying.
the pistol.
The jump kick was stupid, and we all knew that, so we just decided nobody was going to use it. That's just like you deciding to take a pistol out of a game. That's all I'm saying. Like, it's very.
I think what
identical
you can
situation.
compare this to is like, I think it was Halo 2, introduced the energy sword. We all wanted to play a game with just energy
Yeah.
swords.
It made
Every
no
once in a
sense.
while, just to break the camaraderie.
Yeah, if free for all energy.
You know what I
swords, it
fucking
makes
The
mean.
no
camaraderie.
sense.
We
Yeah.
wanted to break our friendship.
Well, we wanted to just like change it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't use
Change the
Change up the
scenery.
pace.
We wanted to change the scenery.
Well, because
gotcha. I know what you were
everybody
saying.
everybody knows that you 3, Powers, Doug, and Badaw, sniper heavy, if given the opportunity.
Well, that's because
Love
we're fucking
sniping.
monsters.
Exactly,
But
which you
sucked.
can't
let's be
fucking
honest,
hate.
Let's be honest, pal. But that
you
was not
can't
good.
you can't fucking hate on.
He was- yeah,
but at the
was very
same
good.
time, you bring everybody down to the same level. Fucking swords for everybody.
Yeah.
Trust me,
That's the thing, and I wasn't.
and
that
I
good with
understand.
swords.
I understand.
So like that's the thing. Like I have my weaknesses too. I just try not to
you
put
are,
but it
myself
didn't
in
take
game
a whole
types.
you
lot of
are
talent to
correct
do just
with
swords.
the pistol and Halo.
Yeah.
Maybe we're not
But
right this
the
time.
the gameplay of the fighting game,
Yeah.
when you're in a small box,
Yeah.
and all you can do is punch, kick, and special move. It's like there's not a lot of. There's already very little. What's the word? Not different things to do. There's already very little to do as it is, and so then what you have to do just to make it entertaining is like, okay, well, we have to limit what the game tells us we
To
can.
challenge yourself more. It
Right.
makes it more challenging to.
But I feel like there's like just one of those things where there's a lot less competitive nature
Slicey
when you're
dice.
talking about a non-online or non-multiplayer
Yeah.
game.
I don't
other
think it was
than
different back
1v1.
then. I think it was just different. The mentality was different.
Dude,
back
we
then.
can all
Once
agree.
again, I didn't break any controllers.
We can
You
all
guys broke
agree
controllers,
that
All the time.
back in the day, I don't think anybody here is fighting game heavy.
Yeah.
I think we all agree this is crap.
I mean, I played a shit ton of Mortal Kombat back when it came out, and I loved it.
Yeah, but that was
to
the
go
thing.
back. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I don't know if I'd go back. I can't go over to a buddy's house and play fucking 24 hours of Mortal Kombat right
You know what
now.
you could
Just
go
couldn't
home
happen.
and play 24 hours of
Most any game that
Super
I have.
Smash Brothers.
Yeah, Super Smash
Smash
Brothers.
Brothers,
Still.
yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. Super Smash Brothers is a fighting game. They just changed it up a little bit, tweaked it,
Yeah,
made
but
it
you
way
know
better.
what? You know what Super Smash Brothers did that was genius at the time?
Simplified the moves.
It's the fucking item drops.
Oh, the
Now
other
it really was the simplicity of doing the moves.
up B, down B, B. Was
That
it.
Yeah.
and yeah,
A
but there
and
was
forward
things
A.
that like
That was
pissed you
everybody's on
off,
the
but
same
at the
playing
same
field.
time were
Exactly.
hilarious.
Yeah. For
And I
sure.
just feel
and
like-
it was having characters that everyone already knew and loved.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I mean, but it's so different when you get 4 people. There's different ways to kill them other than just hitting them. You can throw them, grab them,
Oh, yeah,
smash
the
them,
4
items,
person
throw
even.
them off the edge. It's
3 people could gang up on 1 person. You'd have little mini battles going on with 2
And I
2,
honestly-
one on
And
one.
then
Honestly,
you'd be that single
think of-
sneaky bastard. that just
imagine
creep
the
up on
same
people.
exact gameplay, right? Applied to a longer level
Yeah.
with a couple different levels on it.
and 2 more
Way
players.
better. And
Okay,
2 more
so
players.
I
2 more
vote-
players,
Oh, yeah,
which is key.
No, I
And
and
agree
that's
that
why
Super Smash is way better.
and the only thing is it's probably my competitive nature, but it's if I'm gonna play against you, then I'm gonna beat you.
Exactly.
And if I'm not, then fuck, I
understand.
lost.
No,
Like,
I mean,
so I
understand
can't.
what you're
that was
saying.
close.
I just I
How
can't.
my competitive
ugh.
nature works is, like with a fighting game like this, I know there are combos and I know there are ways you can do that. I don't know what the combos are, and
You
at the
don't.
time there was no way to look them up, so it's like I just put it on my mind, like, all right, I'm just not competitive about this because I can't be fully competitive.
That's
about
exactly
it.
how I am with
and
Madden. That's
you were 8.
because I'm not very good. I'm just like, dude, if I throw 8 picks and 4 TDs in a in a
That's
game
why I like Madden
and get
because
crushed
I
85
throw
to
every
4, I
single
don't care.
throw. And you know, you run a lot. I don't know if in Madden throwing works all the time. I know in normal football you run way more than you throw, but in Madden I just throw all the time
Yeah,
because
just-
I seem to get way more yards that way. And I like the big throws.
Yeah, I can't. I was
I like
never.
seeing Brady just air it out.
Yeah, I was just. I've never like. I used to be good, and when I say good, I mean I used to be able to at least go like win 50-50 against my brother. That was really the epitome of good because
there's
how
only
many
two
other?
of you.
There's only two of you.
Exactly.
So that's what it came down to, and I think that's where the frustration of it comes from.
Yeah.
It's like
Well,
you always want like
And
every
see,
game you play, you're always, like
I
when you
completely-
enjoy the game is you want to progress and get better,
I
and then you
completely
cap. And you're just
understand
like,
your frustration.
I'm gonna throw in the game changer of why Doug played like this. He was playing against his brother. They lived in the same house.
You needed
could
to
just,
win.
You could
You
just
had to
douche
win.
him as many times as you wanted because then you
had
just went back to
to
your room
win.
and you'd probably come back in 10 minutes and play again.
You had
With
to
a
win.
friend, you couldn't do that. Like we were saying, like
Actually,
you don't go to a friend's house,
Me and Al
jump
never
kick
really
him 10
played
times on
fighting
his
games, but I
game,
did break my first
make it so he
controller
can't even
against
move, and then
playing
be
him in
like,
a
oh hey, you
combo.
still want to hang out?
All right,
No,
so
doesn't
Yeah.
happen, doesn't
we
happen.
should wrap up
Yeah,
with some
all
closing
right.
thoughts. Let's just
Wow.
go down
My
the line.
my closing thought, I'm gonna give it a great score for back in the day, 4 out of 5,
Remember-
and a 3 out of 5 for Neo, just because
Neo.
I'm not really a
Right to Neo.
super
Would-
fan.
Would you consider it a classic?
Yeah, I honestly think this was top of the genre for when it came out. Still, I think the original Mortal Kombat that came out had 7 characters, and 3 of the characters were the same model with different colors because they couldn't fit them on the cartridge. So yeah, the third one with this many
Based-
fucking characters, they were
He has
top.
decided classic, Dougie.
Yeah, I've
Based
decided
He
on-
has decided classic.
classic for
Based
me.
on what we discussed
You're-
and determined was a classic, and
I'm
I think
sure he
most people
remembers-
agree is a
I'm
classic.
sure he
Hold on,
remembers the conditions.
I'm
I
just
remember.
gonna I'm just gonna preface.
Still
You
is
did
good
mention
playable.
earlier that you wouldn't go back and play it.
I said I wouldn't go back and play a 24-hour day of it at a
Yes,
friend's
that
house.
was what he said.
You could probably play it for a little
Yeah,
bit.
I honestly,
the only
for
reason-
the amount of time they've been playing,
sure
I
if
could
you
probably
ask-
still play for longer than what they've played.
Yeah,
and
I'm
still
sure
have
if
fun
you
with it.
asked Libby right now, he's like, I'm
The only
tired of
reason
it."
I would go back and play this game is for the brutalities, fatalities,
Yeah.
friendships, just to see
Yes.
those. Now,
The friendships?
but to actually,
are we now
some
into
of
your
them
review?
though are actually
we now
kind of
into your
funny.
review of the game?
Yeah, go
Some
for
of them
it.
are actually pretty good, but
Alright.
essentially, if
Pav
you're
votes classic
Yeah.
and
yeah, we went over that.
Dougie.
Yeah. So essentially,
We kind of
you
faded
can't
out.
actually. I can't go back and play the game as the game and enjoy it. I'm gonna go back and pick out
can.
little
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
I can pick out little excerpts
Right.
and things like that. But because I don't see a difference between this and any current gen fighting game, again, I did play DOA 4. That was, I think, the last one I played. Maybe Soul Calibur 2.
That
But
you're gonna say this is
that I-
precedent setting?
no, I don't see a difference.
Right. This one set the model for exactly
Well,
what
just
they haven't
let it-
changed now. Still.
Yeah, don't.
Which Street Fighter did first. So I can't say that this is a classic
Okay.
in good
Okay, alright.
conscience.
Dougie just say classic.
All right, all right.
But
I had fun. I had fun playing it back in the day. It was, I liked the whole like dark thing back when I was a kid. It was really cool, you know, seeing the skull, seeing people get owned
Yeah,
like that.
the gibbing
That was
and the bombs,
awesome. It
the
was
gro-
so
the-
much
the
fun
gore.
to play that. Like looking and finding the fatalities and being able to do those as a like kid was awesome to see. I'm not really a big fan of fighting games, even nowadays. Back in the day, they were just button mashers looking for it until you found the original combo, and even then, it was a bitch to actually execute.
oh god,
That was pretty hilarious.
That was awesome.
But
What is
yeah,
it, the Babality? Yeah, Babality.
they were
yeah.
fun and they had their plays, but I just don't think a fighting game can get a classic title. That's just I just
No
don't like
fighting game
games.
can get a classic
I just
title.
don't
I would
like
say-
fighting games. I don't think they. I mean, I've never seen the skill and the fun.
If
in
I
them.
was gonna call
That's
one a
just me
if I was
personally.
gonna
That's
call
just
a
me
fighting
personally.
any fighting game a classic, it would have to be Street Fighter 2.
That's just because of the
That-
knowledge.
I don't
and
know,
that
I mean,
I'm
was
just
what
saying,
people
Mortal,
know as a
Mortal
fighter.
Kombat to
Wait,
me,
wait. Guys, we have
Yeah,
our
let's-
perma host.
Yeah, let's let
Our new
Tommy
perma
know
host
perma
to
host.
go.
our noob,
We'll just let people decide what they
noob
want.
Sagat.
What they want to call.
Users, use in the YouTube comments,
Yeah,
classic or not.
yeah.
yeah, that's a good
And
idea.
if you don't, you're a bum.
And permahost, go.
Like Carmelo Anthony.
Noob. Wow, sorry, that was really
That was-
loud, guys.
that was
a little way too close to the
reverberating.
mic.
All right, I mean, and I'd give it a classic. I give it a classic rating based on.
I'm surprised.
Okay, I'm just gonna pause here for a second because that was epic.
That was a fall and a half.
I give it.
I'm surprised you only fell like barely 6 inches past those spikes.
I give it a classic rating based on how it affected like the community. That might be stupid, but like who
What, I
doesn't
mean, the arcade
like?
community that played this and it was big to everybody
Yeah, like
at the time.
nobody at the time, and I think not nobody, but
Everyone knows
the
Mortal
masses know Mortal Kombat.
has its place.
Was it? And like, yeah, I wouldn't go back and play it now. Like, if you honestly were like, "Hey, you can play," I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm all right."
Just like, hey, just get
I'll
him
give
down
you
to
Impact.
get him
I'll
down
give
to
you
Dizzy
Impact.
so I can do one of the cool animations.
Fighting games aren't for me. Like, I really don't give a shit about learning the combos. I'll button mash the shit out of it all day.
So I don't-
I'm that. I will admit that I'm that douchebag that would get you in the corner and figure out how to get you in the corner and keep doing it.
I don't disagree, and I'm not just making argument for the sake of it. I actually just want you to expand on your thoughts because I'd like to hear them. You said that it was big in the community. What did it do? Like when you think about Street Fighter 2, I would say that was the one that this was modeled after Street Fighter 2.
Yeah.
And
Well, you know better than I
so
do.
maybe if
like,
this
what
maybe
came
if
out
you-
first.
well, I'm just saying like if you think that this is what really that although another game this was the style or the gameplay was almost a duplication of an earlier title, but this is the one that made them as popular as they are, then I won't disagree. And I didn't mean to lead the witness or anything,
No.
but I want to hear your thoughts.
You know better than I do, like what games came out before what games.
What is going on?
I mean,
It's-
Street Fighter.
Users?
I'd say Street,
It's a different type
in
of
my
game.
mind, Street Fighter is
God,
definitely on
type.
par with Mortal
Another
Kombat.
friendship kill.
I think they both have like
They're both fighters. It's
They're
just
like-
it's a
they're
different
like-
tone.
equal slices of the pie in the fighting community, and you throw Soul Calibur and Tekken in there. I think Tekken's a little lower down, but
Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter are completely different games. to me.
obviously, like I said before,
too.
Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat were the forerunners for Soul Calibur.
I was just talking in terms of it's Street Fighter 2 is what I believe really set the basis for the entire genre.
Yeah.
Now maybe there was a much more popular game out there that I don't know about, but at least in terms of what my limited knowledge of, fighters and things like that. But
I
Tommy,
can't-
Classic or not?
I give it a classic just because I think it influenced the masses.
2 classics, 2 not. We
Oh,
are
man.
tied on
I mean,
this one. This
We're
week.
tied.
if
Do we need a
I was gonna
tiebreaker?
judge it on a classic based on playability, fuck no.
But no,
I wouldn't like. I had very little. I had fun
classic
playing
can
this as a
be on
kid.
multiple levels.
classic doesn't only mean when we talked about it,
It had
we
multiple-
just decided
He's
that
heard
one
it.
of the
He listened.
one of the biggest things is just whether the replayability going back currently, and you can still say, man, I love playing this game even now.
Yeah.
Like I still go back and have a
Yeah.
blast with the dodgeball one where you like beamed them really hard and like, took people out. Like I can go back.
Hey.
Granted, much like Power's point, like you don't go back and play it for 24 hours like you used to, but you can still go back and play it. So, do we want a tiebreaker? Want a tiebreaker?
Nah, we're set. We'll have
No,
to.
no,
Well,
no,
we got a perma player.
No, we
we
don't
got a
need
new
to.
perma player.
You don't
Got a
need
new perma player.
You don't need a tiebreaker.
No.
I mean,
No.
because people are gonna think what they're gonna think. They're not gonna.
Yeah.
They don't give a shit
Yeah,
about what
but
we
yeah.
say about games.
I don't think
Oh,
It's
they
just an
do.
telling.
We're the most influential voices in America.
But
Oh, that was a pretty good one.
I don't know. I
You don't
think.
think
Pretty
so?
good one.
I
Most
think it's just
influential-
because fighting games are just limited. That's all I gotta say about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
I would
limited.
agree.
All right. Users.
Get
I
on.
hope you've
Yeah, check
very
it
much
out.
enjoyed all
Yeah.
the fatalities
Yeah.
you got to
And-
see tonight.
and-
We kind of cheated a little bit for your enjoyment,
And
but
if-
I'm sure you'll
if-
appreciate it.
If you don't go and watch our video cast
Yeah.
and like it and subscribe,
Oh yeah, for
then
whoever's
you're a
just listening to it,
you're
come
a
on
jump
now.
kicking douche.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
get on
You
there and
might
do
as
that
well go
shit.
jump kick.
Yeah.
As always, I gotta plug the Twitter just because I'm funny like that.
You're gonna plug the Twitter.
to plug the
T-Hughes603. We can live chat during the show. I just toshed it.
Ooh.
Yeah, follow me, T-Hughes603.
Is that possibly douchey?
a little bit?
Yeah.
If
I really
people-
don't care.
If people
Yeah.
start,
You like
if
name
people start to
dropping
follow
guys
you,
that you don't know.
I'll tell you what. If people start following T Hughes over here,
Yeah.
then we will all start doing live
Yeah.
Twitter during the
If
show.
I-
so
yeah,
you can
if I
suggest
literally get-
topics for us.
I'm
How about
throwing it
that?
out.
How
I'm
about
throwing it
that,
out there
users?
as
Does
like
that-
a sarcasm kind of thing.
that
If people
sound nice
actually
to your
follow
little
me because of
earbuds?
this, that'd be hilarious.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is a little odd.
That's
I
awesome.
think that would show you how far the program's starting to reach.
Yeah. Well, we already reach out to billions across the
The
world.
masses.
All right.
Yeah.
Adios, users.
Peace.
See you next week.